Welcome to What Valerie Makes. This is my sewing room and where all the magic happens. Come on in. Welcome to my sewing room. This is my sewing room tour video, and a lot of you have asked about it, so I'm gonna give you the tour. So let's start. When you first walk into my sewing room, I've got this storage cube bin right here. I got it from IKEA. It's the Calyx typical brand. Everyone has them. So I have the shorter version here, and then I made this ironing board to go on top. I really like it because I was using just one of those pop-up ones, and it wasn't like enough for what I wanted it for. So then I made just a piece of board, and then I put like batting, stapled this on top. Very simple, easy thing to do, and I really like it. So this is this, but up above we'll start with my pegboard. And over here in this corner I've got kind of like all of my embroidery stuff. So hanging above here is my embroidery hoops. I have like 3 or 4 different sizes. Down below that I have all my embroidery needles, and I've got some loose embroidery thread on these little embroidery thread holders. And then below that is this container with like colored pencils, some markers. I've got some knitting needles, which I haven't knitted in a long time. I can do like the basic knit purl, but I really use them for sewing. And like if I'm doing a corner, like a collar or anything with a corner, I'll use the knitting needles to get it. And then next to that are all of my embroidery threads. So I have them kind of in a color coded situation here. So these are all my embroidery threads. And I think that's about it for like the embroidery stuff that I have. And then above that I have some ribbons. I have some bulk elastics, and I have some kitchen twine. I really like having everything like right there so I can see it and I know that I have it, because I feel like when I have things in like nice containers, which I'll show you some of the ones that I have down below, I like forget what I have. So with some of this stuff that I know that I want to use soon, I'll put it up on my pegboard so that I remember that I have it, and then it's easily available for me to just like grab and use, or even base projects around it, which is kind of what, like, I have this patch that I bought and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to make another bag and I'm going to put this patch on it. So that's why I have it hanging there, so I don't forget that I have it and that it's on my list to do soon. So that's one of the good things about the pegboard, I think, and that's how I kind of use mine. But going on, I like to also, put some art up here too, so it's not just all things that I'm using, but like kind of like a visual inspiration or just like something that I like. This card came from ARC when my husband and I placed our last order, and they send cute little postcard thank yous with like different arts on it, and I like that one, so I put it up. And then below that is this. This is what I use to trace my patterns on. I really like this kind because it is, you could technically sew it and like make a garment and do like a lot of custom fitting that way with it. I don't really do it, but I like the thickness of it. I like that that I can like fold it up and not like worry about ripping it, and it's really nice, like it's still like pretty see-through. I can like trace a pattern no problem with it. But I really like this kind, and I can't remember what it's called, but I get it from Wawak, and I'll link that below because that's a highly recommended product that I use. So yeah, that's the tracing paper that I use. And then coming below that are these rulers. These are like quilters rulers. They're the square ones. I really like them. They're see-through. They have like the grid on them. All those things I really like. I use the 2.5 inch and the 4.5 inch for all of my scrap fabrics, because then I keep anything that's like too small to like use as a garment or a lining or a pocket lining. I cut into squares so that I can then make bags or anything patchwork. So that's what I've been doing. It's been working really well for me. So I use these two all the time, and then these I like for like bigger pieces if I need a straight line or I need to see it like flattened down and like, so I'm really happy I got these. They're kind of pricey in my opinion, so like check on like Facebook Marketplace wherever you're from. There's always people trying to get rid of some of this stuff, or estate sales, or even the thrift. I did buy these new at Joann's and they were like $30, but I had a 50% off coupon, so it ended up being okay. But so check for those coupons too, I guess. And then I have just like random scissors hanging next to them. I've got just a pair of like paper scissors, my old pinking shears, and then another paper scissors and like a bigger pair. So I have those on hand. This is my mini iron, not ironing. This hangs here. I really like this for smaller projects. If I'm like gonna stay by my sewing machine and just have like small things, I will sometimes bring it over there and put like a mat down and stuff. That's really helpful. Sometimes when I don't want to like worry or like get my, I was like having this moment like a couple months ago where I was like, I don't like my iron anymore, and then just use this one. My iron's fine, guys. It's fine. And then next to the iron is just I've got some overall buckles, heat and bond, hemming, tape, and the soft stretch heat and bond. I haven't opened these yet. I just got I like these because they're a certain size, and you just, like if you need like a neckband interfacing or a button band interfacing and you don't want to cut it out in your sheet, I like these a lot for that. So this is my first pegboard. And then we'll look at my cubbies down here. I got this recently because the only thing about the ironing board that I made is that you can't like put a sleeve around it and like iron a sleeve. So I actually got this at one of my local shops here in Buffalo. They have it's called Stitch Buffalo, and they're a company that employs refugee women and people who are makers and sell their goods, and also host workshops. But they do every now and then they do a big sale of like things that have been donated to them but they can't really use, and then you can go and like shop the stuff. So I actually got this for $5 there, and I love it. So I just throw a sleeve on it, anything that needs a curve pressing. So I have this right here, very useful, and then my iron, which again is fine. It's just a basic Even Steam Black & Decker. I got it, I think, at Target. It's a fine iron. And then in my cubbies, this is where I have all, like over here I have anything iron related. So I have like a little bottle of water if I need some steam, or if I need like something delicate pressed and I don't want to use like my steamer on this, I'll just like, so I have this on hand. I have a hammer. That's not for ironing, but that is for any kind of snaps or thing you need to pound. So I have that on hand. And then I have my lint brush where I like brush off anything that has lint. I have animals who are very furry and sheddy. So I need that in this room often. And then I have my bins of interfacing and anything like that, that is in this section here. And then next cubby, this is where I start kind of where I display my patterns. And I have all of my sewing books. I've got a couple crochet books here. And then any pattern, PDF pattern or patterns that I have traced off because I'm like worried about the fit or something, or I have to do adjustments. This is where I keep them, and I just use these yellow envelopes, label them, and this is where they go. And then I have all of my indie patterns next to that. I have them in alphabetical order just so that I can find them easily. And yeah, these are all the indie patterns here. I've got some, these are not indie patterns, these are Berta patterns, but as you all might know, if you watched my my latest video, I'm going to be an aunt. And I have a couple of baby patterns, and I'm going to sew my sister-in-law up some stuff for the baby. So I have these on hand right here. These pottery pieces are stuff that I made in college, and I like them, and I was like, oh, they'll be good book holders. What's the word for that? Bookends. Bookends. That's that. And then down here are more sewing related stuff and also not. So I've got sewing related magazines, some fiber moods, some peppermint magazines, and then I have some art books and some vintage knitting and crochet magazines. And then next to that is some containers where I have buttons in it, and I think the other ones are kind of empty at the moment, but buttons are in the one, and then I have some like zippers and stuff like that, so that's the next cubby. And then in the container here, that holds my like big four patterns, the ones that I kept when I did my pattern clear out. And then also I ran out of these envelopes. I need to get more, so I have a couple paper patterns like PDF or traceable patterns that I need to put in an envelope when I get some more. So that's that. And then my next one is craft stuff. So I've got some felt, I got some embroidery stuff, I have some canvas stretchers, and yeah, just like random crafty stuff that I don't have a specific spot for, but it's right here, easy to grab when I need it. So I think that's all for this section, and we can move on to the corner. This is our newly redone sewing room that I'm pretty proud of, but there's still work to be done. Specifically with this corner, my dream, are you ready, is a nice little chair for like somebody who's like wants to come and chat while I'm sewing, or just like read. Like sometimes my husband comes in and like will like get a fold out chair and sit in here, but like it'd be nice to have like a little comfy corner, or if I'm like want to come up here and crochet, I have like a little cute comfy corner to do that in. So that's my plan. And I'm excited for that. But for the time being, it's just kind of like housing. This is my scrunchie stash where I like have a bunch of scrunchies that I made, or fabric that's cut out ready to be made into scrunchies. That's another thing that I try to do with some pieces of fabric after I'm done cutting out a project. If I have a piece that's big enough, here's my scrunchie pattern, and then I'll just like cut out a bunch of scrunchies. And yeah, so this is my scrunchie bin with another knitting needle to the corners. And then I have a bowl of treats. So, a treat. And then I I just have some random stuff. This is another thing I made in college, but I use it as pattern weights. They're very handy. And also it's cute. Very proud of this one. I've got my big, if I'm doing an embroidery piece on the couch, or this is my lap embroidery hoop where I'll do my project on this. And then above are some shelves that I hung up. Here is like books that are inspiring to me right now. I've got a couple of these for Christmas. This crochet book, and then I've got this Hoop Dreams book is very good if you're a beginner. If you are wanting to learn a little bit more about embroidery, I highly recommend this book. It gives you some patterns, step-by-step instructions, very easy to follow along, and the pictures are very clear. So highly recommend that book if you are new to embroidering. And then my girl Bernadette makes Sew and Mend. Love her. A huge resource right here for any hand sewing, which I'm very bad at. But I'm learning, thanks to my girl Bernadette. So, and then above that I have some fake plants, some dried eucalyptus. And then in the middle is a portrait that my husband's grandmother did when she was younger, and I love it. So I put it up there, and I really like it. So, and then I have another art print over here. This is by Amanda Oleander, and she is a wonderful illustrator. And this just spoke to me because I have a pug, and he loves me so much. He's always by my side, and it just spoke to me. I'm like, yes, that's Miles and me. So I have that hanging up as well. Underneath this desk, you don't need to see. It's random stuff. Craft stuff that I don't want and need to get rid of, patterns that I don't want and need to get rid of, and just like random stuff. Don't look there. Come on. Come over here. This way. This is the corner that I'm at most often because it houses my sewing machine and my overlocker. But this is just on hand for when I need to hang up some projects. I like to have things here that I've recently done, that I'm working on, that need just like a couple other things. Also, if I'm hemming, or if I make a dress and it needs to hang to like drop on the bias before I hem it, I'll hang it up on here. So this is where I hang all my stuff. Behind that is this big tapestry that I got from Society 6. I forget the artist's name, but again, I'll try to link it down below if I still, it's still available, 100%. But I needed something for this wall because it's giant and gray, and I was like, I'm not ready to paint yet. So I looked on there, I found this piece that I really love. All the colors are perfect, exactly everything that I like, and just, it was me. So I got it, and it fits beautifully on this wall. Very happy with it. And then over here is my pegboard that I use every time I sew. I have a big meter stick up on the top for like bigger projects that I need measuring. I have my thread holder. These are the threads that I use most often. Not really true. Mostly true. Some of these bright colors I just put up there because I thought it added some visual interest. But most of them I use most often. I've got some elastic thread hanging. I have all of my scissors. I do use LDH scissors. They're really good. I'll link those down below too. They also have, which is what I got all of these from, but they have like, if there was like a little nick in them, they'll like do a sale of like, these aren't perfect, but like they still work great. So I got every one of these in that kind of section. And I can't even, on most of them, I can't find what flaw. But they were on like a heavy discount. So like keep your eye on that too. I think that that's a wonderful option if you're looking for a nice quality scissor, but you're not ready to throw down that cash for it. That's a good option. And then below that I have bias binding makers. I've got just this little thing with like my brush to like get the lint out of my Overlocker sewing machine. I actually would rather use a paintbrush to do that. It works so much better. The bristles on this just like pick up all the lint and they don't move. And then you can go, it comes right off. So I like to use a paintbrush to like get all the lint out of my sewing machines and Overlocker, really. Then I got some little shears. I got the LDH snips here. And then I've got some like washi tape to like mark my seam allowance on my sewing machine if I need it. I also have some cute little visuals. My sister makes these like little keychains, and she made this beautiful Ron Weasley one. Shout out to all my peeps who love HP, and particularly Ronald Weasley. And then on my other pegboard, I'll put in a little clip. A little Aladdin she made me. I forgot to show you, but I'll put a little close-up of him. So that's for my sister. And then I have some older pictures. Me in my garden, Toronto, my husband in his music room. I've got this cute like little vintage pin cushion that I got at like some estate sale that was like covered in pins, and I had to take all the pins out of it. I'm like, oh, it's a strawberry. So I hung it up. It's really cute. I got some like zippers here. I've got my Pigeon Wishes buttons. I think they're so beautiful. So they're like half practical, half for visual stimulation for me. So that's where my Pigeon Wishes buttons go. All of the swatches not all of them, but a lot, the ones that I like and like want to like revisit that I get from Mood in the unboxing that I did last video. And then just like some random tools. I have this loop turner. I've got some rulers. I have a quick turn. Because sorry if you guys like this one. I cannot get this thing to work right. Like I put it up there. I do the thing. I close the thing. Slowly go like this. And it never works for me. But I see people that it works for all the time. I don't know, guys. But then I got another one, the quick turn, which I've heard people say that they love. Gonna try that one out. Haven't done it yet. But there that is. And then I have random sewing tools that I use all the time. This is my button. I actually got this for Christmas and I used it like twice so far since Christmas. It's wonderful. You just mark out your buttons. You don't have to get your ruler out. You just go, yep, mark, done. Really like this. And then this really cute button that I got for Christmas as well. It's just one button and I think I'm going to use it for a bag because that makes the most sense, but that's here. And then I have this little shelf where I got this from an estate sale too. It's like was filled with some like vintage threads, but I thought it was really cute and went with like the color of my pegboard. So that's here. Thimbles, loose pins or needles for hand sewing. This container of safety pins. And then I also have my container for my bobbins. So that all is on my pegboard. And you can't forget your measuring tape. So I have that as well. And then I have this wonderful vintage sewing desk that my mother-in-law found and picked up for me. So that's what I use for my sewing table. There's pros and cons to it. For the most part, I really like it, but there is a feature with my Bernina where you can use a little like knee foot drop. I'll just put what the term is here. Can't think of it right now. But I can't use it because it would stick out like this and this is here. So pros and cons. I really like it though, so I'm not like looking to get anything new anytime soon. And then I keep my Wonder Clips. I keep my pins. Tell me down below. Pin, clips. Which one are you? Can you guess me? I'll let you guess. Hold on. I'm going to tell you in a second, but go ahead and guess. I'm a clip girly. I understand the use of pins. I use them too. But when you can prevent poking yourself, why wouldn't you go with a clip? That's just me. And then over here, moving on, this craft craft storage container. When I was in college, I used it for all my art supplies. So it had paint brushes, chalk, pastel chalk, all of it, filled with art supplies. And then I was like, I don't do that anymore. I'm going to fill it with all my sewing stuff. So each drawer has its own use. Top one is like needles, all of my labels, like anything that I kind of need on a daily basis. I have like my chalk for my marker, chalk tracer, chalk, you know, that's all in there. And then it goes down from there. I have a drawer for elastic. I have a drawer for bias binding. I have a drawer for zippers. And then I have a drawer with all of my tool stuff. So I have some pliers for doing like eyelets and stuff like that. And then the bottom drawer is all of my like cone thread for my overlocker. So that is all of my storage next to my sewing machine. I would show y'all, but I might skip it because it's not super tidy. But I try my best. And then I have like just cute little pottery pieces next to my sewing machine with like a small ruler, or these look like tweezers, which I mean, I guess you could try to use them for your eyebrows. Don't do it, but I use it to like keep my stuff under my sewing machine if I need it, or to pinch something under my sewing machine, or get a thread out, thread my overlocker. So I use these all the time. So anything that I might use like on a constant basis, I just put in this cup right next to my sewing machine so I can just grab it. There are I have a bobbin in here to thread like elastics or any kind of thing that I need to thread through a channel. I have that in here. I have a very important seam ripper and some just, you know, safety pins and stuff like that. So I keep this right next to my sewing machine, as well as some hand cream, as well as some chapstick. You know, the things you need. Things you need. And then all of my markers and pencils. I've got another knitting needle over here if I need to do something like next to my sewing machine, I'll do that. I have that right here. Box cutter, all my tools. So yeah, I think that, oh, and then my handy dandy. This has all of my Bernina feet in it. It has my oil for my sewing machine. It has like anything that was related to my sewing machine when I bought it is in this container, and then also my manual, because I'm still learning, y'all. Still learning. Sometimes I'm like, what does this feature do? Or I'm like, I want to put a cute little embroidery thing on this. Let me figure out how to do it. So my manual is next to my sewing machine. So I think that is it for this corner. JK, editing Val here. Just popping in to tell you about a thing I forgot to mention in this video, and that is my LED light. It is the Slimline 3 table lamp, and it's my favorite thing in my sewing room. It is an adjustable light.
You can make it as dim or as bright as you need it. It's adjustable, so you can move it and it clamps to just about any surface. I am shocked that I didn't tell you about it because it's my most favorite thing. So here I am, editing Val, telling you about it. Back to the video.
But I can go right over here and show you my Overlocker. This I got from my mother-in-law. It was her partner's mother's, and she just gave it to me because it was just sitting there, and I'm like, I'll take it. Please. Hi. I'll take it. But this is my Overlocker. It is a Husky brand, and yeah, it was gifted to me, and I really enjoy having it. It's not necessary if you're new, but if you are like me and someone is like, I would like to gift you this Overlocker, say yes, because it's definitely useful. And then also this table I got in at a estate sale, and I was like, at first my husband and I used it to like put our TV on and stuff like that, but then when we moved into our house about 3.5 years ago, we didn't really need it anymore, and this room was kind of like, when we moved in, if we didn't know what to do with something, we just put it in this room, so we kind of left it in here. But I love this table. Like, I love this whole setup because I have my sewing machine, my Overlocker, and then my cutting mat. And I don't always cut here because, y'all, your back, not great. And I did it for a long time, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna go down and use my kitchen island to cut this pattern out on. And I did it and that was it. I'm like, why did I ever cut so many projects here? Because my back was like killing me, or I would do it on the floor, back killing me. So that is this corner. And then I'm gonna flip around so you can see my other cubby storage bin that houses all of my fabrics. And then over here is my fabric stash. Now, it might, I don't know if you think that this looks like a lot or not. To me, I think it looks like a lot. And I am right now at a point where I do not need to buy any more fabric, and I probably shouldn't, but I can't help it sometimes. But I guess I'll start over here. A lot of this I do have plans for. So, like, I bought this fabric when I was in London, and I'm like gonna make a winter jacket out of it. And at this point, I'm probably gonna wait until the fall for next year. I do already have the pattern like cut out and ready, but like at this point, I'm trying to like weigh if I want to like make this winter jacket now and just have it ready for next year. I might do that. I'll keep you updated. You guys will know soon. And then I have just like corduroy fabric. I've got some like comfy. This kind of is some of the scraps from some of my comfy projects that I did in January and February. So that's like these two bins, or these two cubbies, I should say. And down below here is a little bit more thicker fabrics. I do have plans for a lot of these fabrics. So I've got like pants. I've got some plans to make some pants. I've got like a shacket. I have like a blazer and shorts cord set that I want to do. I have a Jessica blazer in mind for some of this fabric, and yeah, so that's, I believe, when I glance down, those are the projects that I see when I look into that cubby. So a lot of that I do have plans for. We'll see if the plans follow through. But then this cubby next to it is a lot of my bag making fabrics. So like a lot of quilters cotton. I've got some like canvas, and I've got some of the oil. What's it called? Dry oil. I think that's what it's called. Fabrics where I've made like my backpacks from, and I have another bag that I want to make, like a project bag. So I've got all of my stuff for bag making right here in this cubby. And then next to that one is a lot of jersey fabric. So cotton jerseys, I've got some rib knit, I have some stretch mesh. So anything with like some stretch to it goes in this cubby. And then above that is a lot of my woven fabric. So this, I would say, is kind of like my special fabrics. So I've got fabric in here from Liberty that I got when I was in London. I've got some more Liberty fabric that I got for Christmas. And then just some like really nice stuff that I have that I know I want to make something special with. That goes in this cubby right here. Not so much as Harry Potter. This is going to be for my nephew. One of those baby patterns that I showed you. That's what I'm going to use this fabric for. I just left it here so I can see it and I'm ready. So that's what this is for. And then down here is also mostly woven fabrics. And this is stuff where I feel more comfortable using if I'm going to make like a toile of something or I know I can get more of. So I have a lot of like solids or like pieces that are like big enough to make a project, but I might have already made a project out of, so I can like do like test patterns with it. So that's kind of what I use this section for here. And then above that is my yarn cubby. And this is all of my yarn. I'm not the best crocheter yet, but I'm learning. I need to hold back on just like accumulating all of this yarn because like fabric shopping, yarn shopping is also really fun. So I need to like hold back on some yarn shopping until I get through some of this. So that is what I use this cubby for right here. Now the things that you can't see that are in my bins are scrap pieces of fabric that I can use for pocket linings, or I have a specific bin for linings in general. So any kind of silky fabrics that I need a lining for a jacket or a blazer or pants, I have a bin for that. And then the other two, again, some of the fabric in these bins are for are like bed sheets and stuff like that, where if I definitely like not even like a wearable toile, but just need to like see if the structure of the pattern is gonna like be for me, I'll use some of that fabric. And then this bin right here is my projects that I have cut out. So if I have anything that I have already traced, cut out, ready to go, I put in there if it's not something I'm doing immediately. So a lot of the times I'll batch cut, put the project that I want to make on my table, and then the other projects I'll put in this bin down here, and then I'll just pull it out when I need it. This is also where I keep the bags of the squares that I cut out. So any like scrap fabric that is not big enough for a project or for a lining or pocket bags, I'll cut squares out of, which I already told you, and that goes in here. So that's what this bin is for. And then on top here, I'm still working on some of the decor. As you can see, there's another blank wall here, and I would love to get a framed piece of art to go up here, but that's the vision for that blank gray wall. So picture a piece of artwork. Let's picture it. Great. And then I have just some decor. I've got, again, some more dried eucalyptus. I've got like an incense burner, and then behind that is another piece that I made in college in my ceramics class. I really love the bottom of the bowl, so I kind of propped it up to give it so that everyone can see it. So that's this side, and then over here I have more fashion books, more dried eucalyptus, some vases, any kind of embroidery thread or yarn that like is just small pieces. I've been shoving in this jar. And you'd be surprised, like this is a lot of spare yarn and embroidery floss. I'm shocked at how much is in here. And I'm still shoving stuff in here. So that's kind of fun. I've got some granny squares that I crocheted on top of this. And yeah, that is this side of my sewing room. And then here is my standing mirror. I just recently got this because I was using it's a full length mirror, but I got it when I was like 12 years old. And it's like a wooden, very like little, I have to like step back and like, so I wanted something a little bit bigger. So I recently got this from Marshall's. Yeah, Marshall's. But yeah, this is my mirror where I look at what I made on and decide if I like it or not and get ready for the day. A mirror. And then last but not least is this closet. Come on in. This is where I keep, I don't know if you can see, it's probably dark, but anything hanging here are things that I need to mend or fix or turn into something else. But all these projects just need a little tweaking, and a lot of them are like spring and summer makes, so I'll be working on those for the season. I also have a bin full of PDF patterns that I got printed, so that is what's in there. And then in the corner is just like random stuff. I have a big box of scrap fabric that I should go through because before I was like really trying to use all of my fabric when I was doing a project, I would just put all the scrap fabric in this box. So I bet if I dig down in the bottom, there's going to be pieces where I can cut squares out for patchwork pieces or anything like that. So I eventually need to go through it. I do have this thought of making the closet core poof thing that I bet everybody has made except for me. But that's a plan to use all of the scrap fabric. And just like I can't get rid of boxes. So every box that like my Needle Sharp subscription box comes in, I just shove down here because who knows, like you might need a box. I put gifts in it. I put if I need to mail something. So that's all down there too. And then I have bulk elastic that I don't like. Isn't that funny? And then, yeah, I think that's it. But I guess I'll finish with what I'm wearing today. This is a Style Arc. I can't remember the name of the skirt. But this is a Style Arc skirt pattern. I really like it. There's also an option to do like a front zipper, but I chose to do the buttons down the front. My shirt is the Adrienne Blouse by Friday Pattern Company. This is probably one of the first shirts that I ever made. And I like it. I like it a lot. So that's that. And then this vest is thrifted. I got this at Savers, but that's what I'm wearing today. Tights, Doc Martens, also thrifted. And that's it. But I hope you enjoyed my sewing room tour. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading my February makes soon, and also maybe some spring sewing plans in the mix with that video as well. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe. And I think that's it. Miles, do you want to say goodbye? This is Miles, my best friend. He's 13. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.